Hello, I finished reading this book yesterday called Fidelity by Thich Nhat Hanh. I don't know. But anyway, he's a Buddhist who lives in France. Who wrote this book. And I did get some good messages from it, I think. Like, for example, on page 10 it says that we can tell the correct way to love because when we love correctly we do not create more suffering, which is, I think, a good way to go about things, is, you know, not to just be selfishly taking what you can, but to be aware of whether or not you're hurting someone else in the process. On page 17 it says that true love doesn't necessarily have to do with sex, and we can love perfectly without sex, and we can have sex without love. But on 18 it says that the human body is beautiful, but we have to learn how to treat beauty so that we don't destroy it. On page 77 it says that the Buddha's teaching is very clear and concrete. He says that we do not have to love, but he teaches us how to love. And I found that quite non-judgmental, I think, because it's basically saying that you don't have to love and you can just go have sex if you want to, or the such. Basically, just not to create suffering in what you do, you know, to respect people's bodies as the beautiful things they are. And that seems like quite a good message. I think it's not saying there's only one way to do things. It's basically saying there's a range of things you could do. You don't have to do any of them. You should just try and respect people. There was also some nice sections on looking after each other and caring about each other. For example, on page 56 it says, there are times when you may sit and look at a child when she's sleeping. While the child sleeps, she reveals tenderness, suffering and hope. Just contemplate a child sleeping and observe your feelings. Understanding and compassion will arise in you, and you will know how to take care of that child and make her happy. The same is true of your partner. You should have a chance to observe him while he sleeps. Look deeply, see the tenderness that is revealed, the suffering, the hope, the despair that can be expressed during sleep. Understanding and compassion will arise in you, and you will know how to be there for your partner. And on page 62 it says, when you understand your partner, you can more easily accept him and have compassion. On page 101 it says that when we commit to another person, we make a promise to grow together, share and progress together. It is our responsibility to take care of each other. Every time the person does or says something that is in the direction of change and growth, we should show appreciation. And I thought it was nice to reference the idea of not just seeing a partner as like a secondary object, I guess, but something to observe and learn from, even in small acts like sleeping, like just to be with them, I guess, and appreciate them and like actually care. Like there was another passage on 134 about hugging. Yeah, on page 134 it says you have to make him or her real in your arms, not for the sake of appearances, patting him on the back and pretending you're there, but breathing consciously and hugging with all your body, heart and spirit. And it talks about like hugging, knowing that you're holding something that you love, and that person in your arms is an actual person that you love there. It's not just an action. You have something precious to you right there. The main ideas of the book seem to be to love yourself and be like a home and safe zone for yourself, and then provide that for another person and care for that person to a deep level. there was a passage I found interesting about the idea of being a sort of a home for yourself and then a home for another person. It says that in Vietnam, each person in a married couple calls the other "my home." When a man is asked "where is your wife?" he may answer, "my home is at the post office." If someone asks a woman where she got something, she might say, "my home made it." When a husband calls his wife, he might ask, "my home?" and she answers, "here I am." I don't know if that's actually a thing that happens in Vietnam currently, but it sounded interesting, the idea of believing that you and your partner are a safe zone for each other, to the point where you call each other your home. I also learnt a few interesting things about the Buddhist faith from this book. For example, on page 96 it says that in the Kalama Sutra there's a passage where a young person says to the Buddha, "There are so many spiritual teachers who visit. Many of them say that their way is true, that we should follow them, and we don't know who to follow. Please, Buddha, teach us who to follow." And the Buddha says, "Do not have faith in something because as a famous spiritual leader said it. Do not have faith in something because it was recorded in any scriptures. Do not have faith in something because everyone believes it. Do not have faith in something because it was laid out in custom. Hearing something, we should examine it closely, comprehend it and apply it. If when we apply it there is a result, we can have faith in it. If there is no result, then we should not have faith in it." And I thought that was an interesting take on faith, because it's almost like Buddhism isn't a religion as such, because you can be an atheist Buddhist or a religious Buddhist or a theistic Buddhist, or you could believe anything just by only believing things that are factual. But there was one story in this book that I thought was quite similar to Christianity, which is the Buddha once described someone who is very thirsty and he sees a glass of fresh water. He thinks that if he drinks that water he'll be satisfied. Looking closer, he sees that there is a label saying that the water is poison. If someone drinks it, that person will die. But the water looks so clear, so fresh, so fragrant. A wise person would say, "I'd better not drink that water. I'll find another source." But for many of us, the appearance is so appealing, we say, "I'll drink it. If I die, at least I'll have died satisfied." And that particular story made me think of Adam and Eve, basically, from Christianity, where they're like, "Oh, there's that tree. God said not to take from that tree. But we do want to take from the tree, though, because we'll be satisfied and we just want to, and stuff." And yeah, so it made me think. It's basically, well, it's sort of the same story. They both of them have seen a consumable thing, and they want it, regardless of being told from a label or someone else, "Don't do that." The difference in the stories, I guess, is that in Buddhas it's like just a story. It's just like, oh, this is just a story of a glass of water. There isn't actually really a glass of water. Whereas whenever I hear of Christianity, it's always like, well, that's a real thing that happened, and now we're kicked out of Eden, and now we're all sinners, and we're all gonna have terrible childbirth and stuff. So I don't know, maybe some of it sounds like Buddhism is like a less judgmental Christianity, where it was just stories, and Buddha's like, "Hey, well, I'm just saying stories. You can just take what you want from them. Have sex, don't have sex. Fall in love, don't fall in love. Do what you want. But I'll just be saying stories over here, and you can just listen and take meaning from them if you want." That's sort of what it's like, I guess, where there's just loads of stories but no actual consequence to them.